That might have just been on the live, dude. Hey, this room's ready.
I can't. I'm already peeing my pants, so we just started.
Welcome, everybody. I hope you guys are in for a treat because this live is probably going to be a hoot.
Oh, okay.
Sick.
Getting myself together. Damn it.
Oh, why do all these lives start like this?
Because we have fun.
Oh my god.
Okay. All right. Thank you for the 13 people that are with us. Not sure if you caught all that. If not, you missed out. I think I'm not even together all the way. I'm not.
And it's not the wine. I've only had 2 sips so far.
Jessica, Michelle, Anna, welcome. For those of you that are joining us now, we've got some really cool special guests today. Jill and Jeanette, aka Gillette, because they move like a Mach 3 razor and just be cutting sales left and right. You know what I'm saying?
So good.
So good. So good. Jill and Jeanette have been in our world for quite some time now. And a lot of you that are in this group are new. A lot of y'all are not. But just to give a little prerequisite, all of us have been in the affiliate space. And now I can say all of us have created our own thing, which is great. There's a lot of stipulation, in this game or this online industry of how you can reach people, how you can grow your audience, and how you can ethically monetize. All right. So specifically today, Jill and Jeanette, we're going to give them the floor. So Jill, Jeanette, if y'all want to take a bit of a turn to introduce yourselves, maybe a brief backstory, just for the new folks. You know what I mean?
Sure. Okay, I'll go first.
Okay.
I'm Jeanette. So jumped into this online world in February, so it's just passing a year. And like the rest of America, I hated my shitty ass job that was torturing my brain. So decided, let me give this a whirl. And so funny because my boyfriend was saying, like when the year passed, he goes, remember when you were like, I'm just going to try this online thing and see what happens. And currently I do this full time. So first half of that year online was rough. It was rough. It was fucking terrible, to be honest with you. Went through the whole thing, didn't make a dime, really had to reach within myself to keep going. And then I found these lovely fellas, and they taught me to be myself in my content. And that's literally what changed it. I mean, naturally the training and everything helped, but that was the big move there, was be yourself. So I started saying the word fuck a lot and just talking however I talk. And people were like, I like this girl. So it's pretty amazing how that happened. And I, jumped into Group Juice and literally everything else you guys have sold me. And took off from there. And stopped with all the bullshit tech stuff and trying to do all this crap that didn't work, and just literally talked about what I was doing, my journey, what was working for me, why I loved all the things that I promote, and everything just took off from there. And then Jill, I don't know if you're over here. You're over here on my screen. But
you're over here on mine. Oh.
Jill, somewhere in this circle. I've known Jill like pretty much the whole time online. And then I was just like, hey, let's do our own thing. Since Flip and Nate have shown us the way, like the Mandalorian, we were like, we should, fuck it, let's just do this. So the point of this whole story is a lot of this year has been, fuck it, I'm just going to try this. Fuck it, I'm just going to try this. Fuck it, hit the post button. People that know me, that's like my thing. I'm like, just say fuck it and hit the button. And yeah, that's when everything kind of blew up and everything, all the light bulbs went off. And here I am today, a year later, still rocking with you guys because you're the best. And now Jill and I have our own thing going too, which is completely insane.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
So it's been the ride. It's been quite the ride, but it's been worth all of it, every single last bit of it, because my brain has come back to life and I am a better human for what I'm doing today.
Love it.
Well, and I'll follow that up. I'm Jill, and I'm not nearly don't have the colorful language that Jeanette does. Even that's just not me, so that's okay. And but same, we have almost the exact same story. We have I started in probably the beginning of December of last year, but really started in the beginning of January. And I was going nowhere fast. And I met Jeanette in February, and we pretty much had the same story. And then I joined with Group Juice, and it was kind of like a light switch went off. I don't even it just like all of a sudden, just like this whole thing just made sense. And I think it was just kind of showing up as yourself and not caring about what anybody else was doing and just do your thing. And in doing that, it just worked. And it kind of just all came together, and then I met Jeanette, and Jeanette, I mean, really, it's been awesome since I've met Jeanette. And what ended up happening was she ended up like stressing out over calling me. And then she called me and said, hey, do you want to do this thing? And I'm like, yeah, sure. Okay. And so we did. And it was like literally that easy. It was actually, I think, something that we were both ready for. And so we put together the Vibe Tribe, and now we have a group of awesome peeps that are working and killing it out there.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I shouldn't have said that word. Damn it.
Probably getting banned.
Enough trouble as it is. Just
All right, two things. Those of you that have questions for Jill and Jeanette, or us, put them in the comments. We'll definitely hit on those. We're gonna, hit Jill and Gillette with a couple questions of our own. But I want y'all to take heed of what they both said. So everybody wants to just come in and start crushing it. Like they want to start an online business and just fucking crush it. And it doesn't happen that way. All right. You have to go through trial and error. All right. You have to find what you don't like. You're going to go through some hard shit. All right. I did it for a long time. Nate did it. And you just heard from, both of these ladies, they did it too. And then when you find the thing and like things start to click for you, it changes everything. Right. And I'm absolutely humble and grateful that what me and Nate created were the thing that made it click, just like it's made it click for many, many other people. Being time me and Nate did we partnered up and built our thing. We've really enjoyed helping other people build their thing too. So we were super excited when this came out, their idea that they had, and it was fun taking it from idea to something that was tangible. And then watching them roll out the campaign to promote it and get paid before they ever created it. Right. I think that's super fucking cool. And then the thing that Jill just said was they're now working with awesome people, and they are. Right. So I think that's really overlooked, that you got to fail a little bit first. You got to try some things. The only way you find what you really like is to try things. Right. If I was to put 50 different flavors of ice cream in front of you that you'd never tried, and I was like, pick your favorite one, what are you going to have to do? You're going to have to try a couple of them. But that tastes like shit. That's stupid. Nope, that's a no-go. Hey, but this chocolate, double fudge, Reese cup ice cream, like, hey, this is my shit, and I can eat this every day. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to point that out.
More of like a vanilla guy, but, I get what you're saying.
I'll eat them all if you guys want me to try all of them, and then I'll like all of them. Ice cream's my jam.
I like coffee Oreo. That's my personal favorite.
Ooh, that's a good one.
That sounds good. But the point is you got to try a couple things.
Now everybody knows our favorite ice cream.
Yeah, put your favorite ice cream in the comments. Okay, let's go ahead and do that. Just get it out the way. Yeah, I'm a chocolate fanatic. All right, everybody knows chocolate or Red Bull. You know, super unhealthy guy and says the F word way too many times, but it's how I communicate. Okay.
Me too. Me too. Yeah. I recently have been getting so many comments about my foul language. Like just recently though, like a lot. And I've had some people, this is like totally squirreling off, but I've had some people be like, I'm afraid of like the trolls on the internet. And I'm like, they're not trolls. They're people that give you engagement. So it's weird that I'm cursing and you don't like it, but you're taking the time to comment on my post. And then I usually comment back like, sorry, that's the way I talk, but thanks so much for the love. And then that helps push your video out. But the funny part is that same person has saved about 3 of my last videos that I put out. So apparently she doesn't hate it that much. Bizarre.
I mean, it's par for the course, I mean, it's a tricky one, especially because it like people can like internalize that when people come at you in the comments or on your content.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you think about it from like a deeper perspective, if we're as content creators, as people who sell products online, personal brands, like if you're putting any extent to yourself on the internet, I mean, you're asking for some type of feedback naturally.
That's true.
I agree.
And it's very prevalent on short form video content, especially like people will be like, just lighting you up in the comments, and it's like, but I've had a guy who has been commenting on my Facebook Reels for over 12 months, like consistently, and we're talking about long, huge paragraphs about why it doesn't work. And it's like, dude, you probably put in like 40 hours of posting on all my content, and like that amount of time, you could have built a business. Could have been set up by now, right? Like, making money. Like
this is probably about the most important thing I'm gonna say, but me and Eddie, we just became best friends. Okay.
Instant. Did we just become best friends?
Best friends, like chocolate double fudge Reese cup. Like you had me at chocolate. Okay. So yeah. Besides that, I do want to make one more point on what we've all been talking about. There's a particular guy that I follow on TikTok, and I started following him when he had less than 100,000 followers, and he's now got 1.2 million followers, I think. And the dude motivates the shit out of me because the way that he creates his content is he's like talking to you, and he's more foul than me and Jeanette put together. He's like y'all know I curse a lot. It's just who I am. But I'm gonna give you an example. He'll be like, "Hey, you fucking lazy son of a bitch." He's like, "The reason you're not getting what you want in life is because you're lazy as fuck, right? You're out here making excuses while other people are out there grinding. What are you doing?" That's how he creates content. So he triggers people. And then I go to his comments, and he's like, "Oh my God, I need you to talk to me like this every day. Can I pay you to send me a message?" Like, okay, maybe I need to turn it up a notch. I don't know.
I'm telling you, maybe I'm being too nice.
Maybe. But
well, Jeanette and I had a conversation that she needed to be not so nice anymore. Like just
way too nice in my content and everything.
Yeah.
Why do y'all think there are good cops and bad cops? You ever played that game? We play that game with our kids all the time, and we get great results with our children. Okay. All right. But yeah. So, question for you guys, y'all. I think we got one question. Let's give this to Gillette real quick. And Bo Brink. I like that name. I don't know why, but I like that. Bo Brink Joy. Like
the whole name is fantastic.
It is. But when y'all are trying to narrow down content, how niched should you go? So I'll hand that off to y'all first. We'll share some insight too.
Go. My opinion. Oh, go ahead, Jill. You were right in it. Go.
for me, as far as like niche down, when you are talking about like when you're first starting out, it's a lot easier to concentrate in one area so that you have like stuff that you're focusing your content about and your audience about. As your personal brand grows, you can incorporate more stuff into it. But when you're first starting out, in my personal opinion, you kind of need to stay in one area so that you're only promoting one thing, because it really helps you to grow your audience.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my personal, I mean, as far as like niche down, like meaning inside of like make money online, you'd have things that would support that kind of thing, which would be more specific. But making money online, kind of like in this niche, promoting something like Group Juice or the Vibe Tribe or something like that, and all the things that would go along with it to support those types of programs is what I would suggest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what Jill said. No, no, but I feel the same way. Like if you're first starting out, stick to one spot, stick to, and then as you grow and your whole brand is going to kind of grow and evolve over time. So you can change it, you can add stuff to it, but I would stick to one specific niche first.
Yep.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're going to be overwhelmed. You're going to overwhelm yourself, let alone overwhelm your audience.
And like, as far as like niche, like totally agree with what Jeanette and Jill say. You don't have to go crazy with niches, and like obviously you want to have some clear agenda of like the little realm you're playing in, obviously, right? But you don't have to go super crazy, like, because I see a lot of people, they'll be like, I need to work with women between 20 and 45 and have 2 kids and they love purple and drive a red car, and it's like you don't got to go that wild with it. Like, it's just play in one little space. And when you are just starting or you're earlier on in the business, you can go micro with it, because you can become a leader in that space, right? And then you can expand as your brand and your business grows, as your authority grows, and you start branching out and solving different types of problems. So I think that's a good analogy for it. Would be like early stages, try to fix one overarching problem in your content, in your community, in your conversations. And then obviously as you're growing and everything's evolving, you can start solving bigger and bigger problems.
Yep. And last thing I'll say is if you were to take my audience, and put them all in a room and say, why are you following Flip? They're probably going to tell you a couple of different things. So when it comes to niche or niche, however you might say it, tomato, it's really you, who you are as a person. You are the brand, you are the niche, whatever. Like, it's you. What kind of person are you, right? You could take any kind of product. So take this microphone as an example, right? You could put 10 people selling the same microphone, and those 10 people will be able to sell the same microphone to many, many different kinds of people. Maybe it's someone who runs a podcast. Maybe it's someone who does a live talk show. Maybe it's someone who does voiceovers, right? It's so many different people, but like, we all technically have sold the same thing, Group Juice, right? And we've all sold it to different people. And those different people have bought because of who we are as people, right? So don't overthink that part of it, right? It's way more simple. And us as humans, we naturally make things hard that don't have to be hard. I mean, it's just kind of the way it is. So you need to hear stuff a different way or more than once before you're like, fuck, he just said that last week, but it clicked today, right?
Well, it's kind of no different than an actual real life, right? When you're like, when you're attracting friends, you're going to do the same thing online because they're going to be attracted to you because of who you are. So it doesn't matter like the age or whatever, because people are going to resonate with you because of who you are. So
that is it.
Regardless of what you think too.
Yeah.
Because you're like, oh, I can't do this because of whatever reason. Like, I sound funny, or I don't know, missing a tooth, whatever. But they're going to like you for you. You know what I mean? Right. There's somebody else out there that's self-conscious about their missing tooth, and they're going to be like, look at this girl missing a tooth, making videos. That's like inspirational shit.
And you never know who will watch your content and relate to you. So like most people would hear me talk and be like, "Oh, that guy could never work with, Christians or church people." Well, let me bust that bubble. I worked with a Christian woman, like did not say a curse word for shit. All right, I'm a godly man, right? God made me this way, and He loves me. That's all that matters, right? But I worked with this Christian woman for a good while, and she was able to look past my foul mouth. And I was able to take her from 0 to 2 high ticket sales in 2 weeks with one coaching call. Right? She didn't care. Like it did bother her that I cursed so much. So I did try to watch my mouth a little bit out of respect. But she said, I was able to look past your profanity to listen to what you were teaching me. Right? So I think that's pretty powerful, if you will. So you never know who you're going to connect with.
Let's see. Yeah, if you guys have any other questions, we'll kind of pick Jeanette and Jill's brain as we go throughout the call. But if you guys have any specific questions for them or us, just spam them in the comments and we'll run through them.
Yeah. So there we go. There's another one. What do you think, Gillette?
How can I solve engagement problems? I'm like, where am I looking? You have to test stuff out. If you're not getting a lot of engagements on your content, then you got to switch it up. Try something new, but don't do it for a day.
Yeah.
Do it for a bit. So maybe come up with some different things that you want to say in your videos, write them down, and then take the next 2 weeks to just do that. See what happens. Yeah. It's all like, it's all testing. That's how it's been for me. When I'll be like, nobody is commenting or doing anything on any of my content. Something's wrong. And your engagement will go up and down because every social media platform, it goes, all of a sudden you'll have, tons and tons of views, and then all of a sudden you're only getting like 100, and you're like, what's happening? Sometimes it's not your fault, but if it's a continuous thing, then I would say switch it up. Switch up what you're talking about, and test it out. Give it like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and see what happens.
And I would say change up your CTA. Like try a different CTA. Like put it someplace different in your content. Don't leave it to the end. Put it in the beginning. Put it in the middle. Like just change it up. Try different stuff to see what works, and try different types of content to see if something resonates better with your audience, so that you're kind of mixing it up a little bit. And just try different stuff, because you never know, it might work.
Yep. And on a deeper level, kind of looking at engagement on a deeper level than just like, hey, is this piece of content getting comments? Is it getting likes? Like, because you can have content that gets minimal engagement, but it's actually like people are consuming that content. You're talking about that content. You're generating conversations off that content. Sometimes people just won't follow the CTAs or anything like that. So you kind of have to be, it's tricky. Engagement's really tricky because it's like, I guess in a sense, anything outside of my group is more catered towards engagement because I want to get people into my group. But in my group, I don't really care, because it's like, it's not really catered to generating a bunch of comments, generating a bunch of likes and hearts. It's targeted. So the engagement is going to change drastically on what type of content you're producing, which goes hand in hand with testing different variations of content and optimizing for what you actually want in your business, right? So if you want to blow up your groups like Jeanette and Jill did, right? They both, like insanely fast, play around with a bunch of different short form video content styles and like go shorter with the video content, right? Yep. Like shorter content, because naturally the less content there is for somebody to consume, the higher the engagement is going to be, right? If I write a 300 word Facebook post and like, or longer, like there's not going to be everybody who reads all that post, but the people that do make it to the end, or spark a conversation off of that piece of content, they're going to be more inclined to buy products, especially if I talked about buying a product in that piece of content.
Yeah. And keep in mind, like, the way that you think, so like all of you watching and hanging out, the way that you think is going to be completely controversial to a lot of folks, right? I think I wrote something about this at some point. I might have did a video, I don't know. But folks are going to just judge you for thinking different. And I'll kind of challenge folks. Like, I've had CTAs and descriptions on videos and stuff that said negative comments are welcome. And I do that to let folks know, hey, it's okay. I'm open for debate. I've got thick skin. I used to dodge 10-pound ashtrays from my alcoholic mom. Like, you can't hurt me. So comment whatever you want and we'll talk about it. And then after I get them commenting, if it's super negative, I will do my best to trigger them to continue the comments, to feed the algorithm to cause my video to get pushed out even more. So controversial works really well. Hidden emotions, right? So like I easily get emotionally triggered by, family things, dads with daughters and stuff like that. Those are the kind of videos that hit me. And then when it comes to business, I'll look at how we run our business and just simply talking about what we've removed. Like, we don't go into other groups and poach. We don't have to massively add friends on Facebook. We don't have to have long, drawn out conversations about the weather or, talking for months and months and months before someone makes a buying decision. We don't have to do any of that. We don't do sales calls. We don't have to push people to a free strategy session. We don't do that, right? Neither do Gillette. They don't have to. They no longer have to do that.
Nope.
Right?
And make sure that you're you in your content too. Make sure it's you, like 100% you, because like Flip just said, we blew our Facebook groups up and none of that shit was happening before I was completely myself in my video. Like, literally whatever spews out of my mouth, which can be a lot at times. So like once that started happening, that's when it happened. It was one video and it woke up to 650 people in my group, and then it just went up and up and up from there.
There you go.
And that, I think it was 100% because I was being me and I was being truthful about how this online business works.
That, like, people miss that. They're like, oh, I've posted 30 videos and nothing's happened. Like, it might be video 31 that blows your shit up. Video 37 might be the one that lands you $10,000 in sales, right?
Yeah, mine was 5 months of videos. I don't know how many that equals, but it's a lot.
Right. Well, here's a better question. How many videos did you post after joining Group Juice before it blew up?
No, not a lot.
Not a lot.
Not a lot at all. Yeah, I mean, that's like one of the big parts in Vibe Tribe that we show everybody is like literally being you, and whatever that is. If I'm like all the time, this is me all the time. Some people are not like that. They don't curse, that's fine. Whatever you are, however you talk, however you are going to convey your message, that's what's going to bring people in.
Yeah.
And I think a really powerful thing to think about with that is it's not like pumping your worlds with placebo people, I guess would be a term for it, right? They're coming in there because they connected with you and an actual message that you want, right? Versus like, hey, you're going to, do $1 million in 17 minutes and join my group and I'll help you do that. Like, you get a bunch of people in your group that way, but how many of them are actually going to be inclined to A, do the work, B, buy anything because they thought they were going to, go from park bench to penthouse and, whatever. So it's actually like pulling massive amounts of the right targeted people. And I think because before we were working closely with both of them before they did the merge. And I think Flip and myself have told them multiple times that their groups will turn into multi six-figure businesses, even if they stop growing them.
Correcto.
We're on our way.
And this simple thing right here, like Jess, appreciate it. Jess has been crushing it here lately. Has recently become a private client and joined us over in Core. Whoop whoop. We done this interview like a lot, not too long ago, but she asked like, how can we grow the group fast? The simple shift of changing the call to action to join my group, paired with a good reason for people to join her group, she's went from 35 to 103 members with, within 30 days or so, something like that.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome because you got that many people to come out of another platform to come into this one, to your very own. I mean, that is spectacular. That's a huge win right there.
Damn, Skippy. And not to mention, so what is that? Like roughly 67 people, right? 67 people. And she's like right on the cusp of 5 figures, right? How about that? Think about that.
Awesome.
Small audience, okay? Targeted but small, ethical monetization strategies with a monetization vehicle, and heading up to 5 figures that quick.
Yeah. And Jess, you said not much with the people that you have in the group. Don't think of it like that. Like, think about if you had 100, what did she say? 130 people like in this room. That's a lot of people.
Yeah.
And you don't need a lot. You don't need a big group to do well. I mean, it's I think a lot of people think more is better, and sometimes it's not necessarily better. So having a manageable group is sometimes a little bit easier too. So
yeah, because that many people coming into your group overnight is not a good thing.
I tell you, I'm in jail all the time.
No, you're in jail all the time because you're setting up. But you can't like start a relationship with that many people in that amount of time. So I feel like because that happened so fast, I lost a lot of people. People are like, oh, she's not responding to me. And I'm like, yeah, I can't because I can only message 40 people a day. And I'm already at my limit.
That's a really good point, which is why like this Friday, I'm going to start a massive cleanup. Like we're big on growing groups and growing them quickly and growing them big, right? But I've got like almost 4,000 people in my group, and I'm probably going to delete a couple thousand, especially folks that don't comment on my posts where I said I'm deleting people if you're not active. So I'm going to buy a software that's going to clean all inactive people out. And I'm cool with bringing it down to 1,000 members, right? Or 2,000, whatever it might be. Right now, I'm going to be deleting like 3,400 people because only 259 wanted to stay. We'll see how that goes.
You seem like you're keeping track. It's a very specific number.
I am dangerously. I pay attention way too much to things that I probably shouldn't. Most times. Like we go out to eat, me and the wife, and I'd be like, "Did you hear that guy over there talking about XYZ thing?" Like I hear other conversations without wanting to. It's terrible.
You're like my mom. You could sit. Oh God, she might be watching this. She's gonna hate me, but you'll have dinner. You'll have dinner with my mom, Miss Red. You'll have dinner with my mom, and you'll be talking to her, and she's just looking at you like this, and I'm like, "You're not listening to anything I'm saying." What are they talking about behind us? She'd be like, "The guy behind us." She has their whole story of what's happening. Like, how did you do that?
Just a blank stare.
This is a good question. I would like to take the first field on it, if you guys don't mind.
Sure.
So here's where we made sure to make Group Juice different. So like it doesn't matter what you want to monetize with. Like you could go out and create a guide on, being a productive parent, right? Or how to fix XYZ. Like I'm a parent, so we could go on that shit for days. But how do you transition or add Group Juice? One, you want to use Group Juice to your advantage. You could grow a Facebook group talking about the mindset of a relaxed parent, right? If you're a parent, you already know, like sometimes you're just overstimulated and way too many things are happening. Each kid's asking you 17 questions at once. And like, it's easy to get overwhelmed and have your anxiety levels go up. So you could simply grow a group around being a safe space for parents. And like if you want to go into the realm of working with parents, not sure what kind of expertise you have around that, but you could do that. And you could monetize many, many different ways. At the same time, you could promote this to stay-at-home parents that want to start affiliate marketing, folks that want to sell physical products, digital products, create their own products. Like it's literally endless on how Group Juice can benefit the absolute beginner or the person who's already making 10 grand a month or more. Like it's literally endless in my opinion.
Yeah, not doesn't have to be too big of a pivot, right? Obviously, if you wanted to build your brand revolving around that or a community of your own revolving around that, the thing to think about is naturally you're going to start accumulating parents that want to do something similar that you're doing, right? They're going to come into your world and they're like, oh my God, this is cool. There's a community. There's like this culture that she's created. And like, you guys you've done this. And like, you're going to get other people that want to do that as well. Like, hey, how did you build this group? Like, how did you create this thing? Right. Easy transition. Like, obviously you don't have to make these big. I think a big thing a lot of people see is like, if you're potentially selling one thing and then you want to sell something else, they feel like they have to like burn everything down and then just like do the next thing, where it's like, you can just talk about the other thing too.
Just tell them.
Right?
Hey guys,
like, hey, I've got everybody in this group about parenting and how to be a parent. Like, how many of you guys would want to build a group of your own? Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then you can put in like, not that I'm a parent, but like how hard it is to do something like this, being a parent. Like if you have little kids, like the how you run your schedule based around your kids, because that would be huge. I feel like that's something that people struggle with a lot, is like time management. So that's like another kind of part of it that you could go into that would like then have you start talking about what you're doing.
Gaps.
A good real-time example would be how Jeanette and Jill launched their thing, right? It was like in Group Juice, promoting a lot of Group Juice, and then they're like, hey, we want to do this. We want to do like a partnership. We want to launch our own product. It wasn't like they had to make this big old massive announcement like, hey, fuck Group Juice, we're launching our own thing now. It's just like, hey, we're doing this cool thing. Do you guys want to come hang out with us? So it's like, and then they still sell Group Juice on the back end of that too. So it's like, you can mix and match as far as like how you guys actually want to monetize. It's virtually, it's kind of fascinating because it can really become limitless with your opportunities to actually monetize audiences that you're building.
There you go. That's a big one. So question before we hit another comment question. So like me and Nate, we really enjoyed having a very small hand in, helping with Vibe Tribe. Number one, the name's like so fucking cool. Like who wouldn't want to be in a Vibe Tribe?
Right? I agree.
You know what I'm saying? So like real quick, selfish plug, for these lovely ladies. If any of you are here and like you're more in the beginning stages or anything like that, hit up Jill and Jeanette. Let them tell you, what all's inside and what the Vibe Tribe could do for you. We're totally cool with you guys doing that, and want you to go join their groups, learn from them. They're private clients, so you can't, have too many people you can learn from, especially if you're here. That means you like all four of us, right?
That's true.
Maybe.
Otherwise, you're having a terrible time right now.
Right?
Question though, based on what you guys have done, so like you went through your own little, respective figuring shit out and having stuff not work to finding something that you vibed with and it started clicking and you started getting results, and then getting those results and using those results to launch your own thing. What would you say is the best advice you would give to someone in, the stage of, I'm wanting to start, but I don't know what to invest in or, what to expect? Like what's y'all's like true honest advice for someone who's in that spot?
in my personal opinion, I usually tell them there's a couple of things that are non-negotiables in an online business, and one of them would be a domain, because you need a professional email and you need an autoresponder. Those are the three things that you have to have. Funnels are optional, whether or not you want one or not. You can use one absolutely if you want to, but you don't have to. And we've actually, as you all know, Beacon's page works just as well. So it's really up to you what you want to do. So the cost to get set up is pretty minimal. I mean, as far as like an autoresponder and all that kind of stuff, it's pretty cheap. But like getting started, it is not a get rich quick thing. It is something that just takes time. It takes effort. You're going to be putting in effort. You're going to get frustrated. You're going to get to the point that you want to throw your computer out the window, and then you're going to come back and you say, okay, now what do I have to do next? Because that is the life of an entrepreneur, and you're just going to have to just kind of get over that whole, figure out your mindset and say, okay, I'm doing this. So now that I've had that and I'm past it, I need to know what the next step is. And that's when you come to us and we tell you what the next step is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And like, you should definitely invest in training. And I'm not saying that because everybody here happens to sell a course, but there's no way that Jill or I could have done any of this without any kind of training. Trying to do this on your own is out of the question. So, like, talk to people, find your tribe, find your people, whoever you feel comfortable with, that's who you're going to do best with. But, yeah, I mean, clearly Jill and I are proof of that. Like, clearly we didn't vibe with anything we did before this.
A lot.
Well, I think the biggest benefit to it is like getting yourself in rooms with other people who are where you want to be or have done things that you want to do, right? Yeah. It's like you're going to go learn how to play some type of sport. More often than not, you're going to go like work with a coach or a team, like somebody who's going to show you how to do things, right? And obviously that's not to say everybody just has to like go sell off their 401k to go buy a mastermind or some shit. But
don't do that.
Getting yourself into the rooms with other people and like the benefit of investing in things is it save time. Yeah. Right. Like there's so much information that anybody could use, like in any one of our groups, go implement stuff. Right. But it's also like a structured way, like step by step, how to do X, Y, Z. This is the challenge you're more than likely going to face, and this is how you're going to overcome it, versus like just piecing together different components that you might not even know that are a problem.
So that'll bring me to my next question too, because like both of y'all said the same things as far as you need a certain amount of support and training, and you got to expect that it's not going to be as easy as a lot of these other people are saying it is. So I'd love to hear what both of you guys think when it came to Group Juice or even Core. But we'll start with Group Juice because that's what like clicked it all. What was it that was inside of Group Juice that kind of set the ball rolling for you guys, where it was like, oh shit, here we go. I'm gonna do this. It's okay. I got it now. Like, what was it that clicked for you? If
you guys teach skills. You guys teach. It's literally like step by step, but you guys do lives every week where if you had a question and you were like, I don't want to like post it in the group, I don't want to like message anybody, like those lives every week is where you can get all of your questions answered if you have them. And I felt like that was a big part of it too, because questions where in other courses that I took, if I had a question, it was like tiptoed around where it wasn't actually answered, or I felt like a complete fucking idiot asking it. Like they didn't make me feel like I could ask questions. So, and I don't normally feel like I can't speak clearly, but yeah, it was just the whole breakdown of how to do this, but the support, I think that's really what did it for me.
So for me, this is for me what it is that a lot of this business is soft skills. It's not, I mean, anybody can give you a list of exactly what you need to go do and set up. Anybody can give it to you. Anybody that's out here can give you that list. But it's the soft skills that you have to learn. And I don't know how else to say that, but the soft skills, like the writing, the, you know, like how you communicate, how you do your content and all that kind of stuff. And you can't get that from a piece of paper. You have to be able to ask somebody your questions, because every single person is going to be different and going to have different questions that needs to be answered. And for me, that's what came through in Group Juice. It was more of a teaching you how to do those soft skills that people don't talk about, because everybody talks about, well, how do you set this up? How do you connect this? How do you do this? And that's not really what this business for me was about, because I could do those pieces. It was for me the soft skills that somebody needed to tell me how to do.
So I'm the complete opposite, because they were all like, build a funnel. And I was like, okay. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this at all. And then you guys were like, guess what? You don't need a funnel. And I was like, these guys are for me. Like, I was like, oh, I could stop worrying about all that shit, wasting hours trying to figure that shit out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember trying to mess with ClickFunnels in 2020. And like my brain used to just melt. Like I'd get in there and like, I don't know what to do. Like,
well, the other thing is nobody ever taught me even how to do it. It was just like, oh, just import this, pay $97 a month and just put my shit in there. And I was like, okay.
Look, yeah. Oh my God. That makes me want to make one really big point right here. So like you can go and build all this shit. You can go build a funnel. You can go and, you know, put this email sequence in place and all this, the nurture sequences, etc. But if you don't know how to drive traffic or communicate with people, yo, you got software you're just paying for every month. You got autoresponder you're just paying for every month.
Yep.
All right. If you can't connect with people that have a problem that you can solve or want to work with you or need to work with you based on your services, your funnel and email don't mean jack shit.
No. And I was always told, like, should I start making content like before I have all that set up? And they'll be like, no, you have to have that set up first. And now
make
I'm
content
like,
first.
like all that shit. Get on camera. That's the hardest part, is getting on camera.
It's like it's crazy, because it's like a lot of it will be like, hey, we'll give you this business and this ecosystem, but it's not like the shitty part is like, even if it works, and that's not I'm not taking a shot at anything, like, you know, there's no question that there's things out there that people are making a ton of money with. That's the reality of it.
Yeah.
But the biggest problem is what a lot of people don't cover is why or how it actually works on a deeper level. I'll give you this thing and you can drive traffic to it, and then you get blessed by an algorithm and you get millions of followers and you make a bunch of money. But what if that stops working? What if you don't go viral? Like the majority of people who don't go viral and don't get push a bunch of traffic to it. Like
it's a big one.
It's on a deeper level why and how it actually works, because then if you think about it, when you do want to start mixing in email automation, you want to start mixing in funnels, you actually understand why those things actually work so you can use them effectively. Check
it. What if? Just here's one of your biggest what ifs, guys. Oh my goodness. You ready? You with me? All right. What if you knew how to go and build an audience based on you and your personality and your principles and your beliefs and hobbies and you just who you are? You build an audience, right? And then you go and get this simple opt-in page where people can join your group and get something from you. You got this audience, right? Guess what? That's what you need to do. You need to build your audience. And then that audience that you build based around you, they're people that are in your world and in your audience because of who you are, and they vibe with you, and they're the ones that are going to buy from you, right? Don't overcomplicate this shit.
Yep.
This is where most beginners get crushed. They're like, hey, we got to go and spend, $300, $400, $500 a month on software, and we don't even know how to use it. We don't even know how to feed it. We don't know what to do. Like, I got all these things, but it's like, I got a YouTube video that lives out there since like 2020, maybe. Beacon's page, how to do a free opt-in autoresponder. And I grew my group into the thousands with that, like,
Same.
because I had the audience, right? Yeah.
Well, and you're above me, but that is exactly why you don't need to worry about the first 1,000 on TikTok, because you do not need your link in anywhere for the first 1,000. You're just working on building your audience. That's
Right.
it.
That's what I never understood too. It's like, oh, go make TikTok videos, but make sure you have your funnel set up. And I'm like, I can't even put a link in there. So who the fuck cares about the stupid link?
Yeah.
That never made sense to me, but I still went along with what they told me.
Right. So here's one little thing, and then I do have to leave early, unfortunately, which we might have to do like a part 2 session on this. But so I'm gonna give y'all something to help you, but it's also gonna be an example, right? So we have 30-some people here with us, audience. We're talking about things that most of you are dealing with or have been thinking about. And now I'm going to tell you, I saw someone say that they're canceling ClickFunnels right now. Right?
Do it.
Listen, that's influence, right? Because we just made it easy for you to make a decision. And whether you're paying $97 or $297, we just saved you $297 or $97 a month, right? Let's just say it's $300. So 12 times 300, we just saved you $3,600 this year, right? There's influence from an audience based on content that we have created that got you here. And now I'm going to tell you a CTA. If you want to see a 14-minute video that shows you how to build out a Beacons page and connect everything so that you can do this easily, then you can go to my YouTube channel, search Flip Moss, and you'll see it. I even tell you that it's at the 14-minute mark in the description, right? And you can sign up for Beacons for free. So now this is me giving you a call to action. This is the same thing you can do in your short form video content or your long form written content. You want to make it easy for people to make a decision to follow your CTA, right? It's literally that simple, right?
Agreed. Cancel that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Jim.
So this is a really good question. Why is it important to go public on my Facebook profile? And I don't understand the benefit of having a group and a public Facebook profile. So I'll go first with this one. Look at your group like a plant, and everything outside of your group, your profile, your TikTok, your YouTube shorts, as like the water. So you're growing the plant with the external platforms, right? So the central hub of the business, objectively for us, and I know you're OG in group juice too, would be to capture the attention everywhere that you can: Facebook profile, reels, written content, and then funneling them into your group. A funnel per se, not necessarily, where you can then give more insights, inside looks at your business, your life, what you're doing, and the biggest benefit to that is obviously, one, if you have to have a public profile, otherwise nobody's going to see your content. Groups do not just grow by themselves. So like if you go create a Facebook group and you post something in the group, only people that are going to see that is the people inside the group, right? So you have to have a medium to actually grow that community. And then the profile has to be public because you need people, you need eyeballs, you need attention, you need to get people into the group. Eventually it could get to the point where you start doing less externally, right? If you have a group like Jeanette and Jill, you got a couple thousand people in there, you can put more energy into your group and less elsewhere because you have an audience of people in that group. But especially earlier stages, it's going to be important to make sure that you're doing everything you can to start growing the group. Eventually it'll start growing by itself. As people are coming in, it's getting found on Facebook and it's getting recommended. You're going to have people just coming into your group and inbound people without having to do much, but it's getting the momentum rolling to that point. So those are kind of the benefits. Even to this day, I still post on my group and my profile. But if you look on a deeper level, the only thing that I do outside of my group is to talk about what's going on in my group. Like if you go look at my profile post today, it was just about Jeanette and Jill. Yesterday and the day before, it's always just, hey, I have this thing going on in my community.
Yeah. It's a big one.
Apparently I can't stop moving my hands today, you know.
Coming into your community. Is it like the breaststroke? Is that what that is? I'm not a swimmer.
He's fanning his womb broom. So unfortunately, I do got to get ready to cut out, but I want to ask one more question for Gillette. I'm totally down for a part 2 because I really feel like we're in the heat of the
zone.
Yeah, like we're in the zone. I could just sit here and fuck with you guys for hours. But at what point? What do you think you should tell? Like, what's your advice on making the decision to kind of roll out your own thing? You know, because y'all had quite a bit of success as affiliates before doing this, right? You know, y'all come into Core and we started doing some other things, etc. What's some good advice to give folks from y'all's perspective, knowing that y'all just did, you know, a 5-figure launch with your own thing?
So are you asking what's our advice if somebody wants to do that?
When should they transition? Would you recommend them to get some, you know, solid affiliate results, or do you think they need to be at a certain stage? Like what's y'all's thoughts on that?
I would say get the swing of being comfortable in getting affiliate sales first. Because I don't know that I would have been as confident doing it if I hadn't already been somewhat successful, you know, doing it as an affiliate.
Right.
Because I would not have been ready for what we did, you know, within the 3 weeks, like the promo and all that stuff. I don't think I would have been ready for it. And then I don't know that I would have been confident enough to have my own thing and like, you know, really teach other people. Because I mean, you're doing that in your group, but having your own thing is totally different.
It's a different nuance.
Totally agree. And it kind of like, Jill, do you have any, like, you agree with that?
100% agree with it. Yeah. I think that you have to get to the point that you are kind of moving and grooving already. And once you're at that point, it kind of is just something that just really just feels kind of natural for you to take the next step, and for you to, you know, maybe there's something that you can see that you can really help that may not be a big piece of what you're promoting, or maybe you can make your something you're totally yourself, but making something to complement what you're already promoting is, for us, that's where the natural transition came in, because we could help people, you know, really help people that were already interested in something like group juice, because we already had that whole vibe going in our groups already. So it was a very natural transition for us.
I love that. Now, before I have to sadly depart, you know, the trio will continue, guys, so don't worry. I've just got to go throw balls at people's face. That's what I got to do. Go play volleyball, guys. Get your heads out.
Night.
Okay.
Date night.
I'm going to ask a huge favor.
The bearded ball man. Sorry. Sorry.
I've got a big question, a big favor. So before I leave, there are literally 30 of you watching right now. If you could do me the utmost favor right now, put your biggest takeaway just from hanging out with us for the last hour. Like, put your biggest takeaway in the comments, and like, just let us know if this was helpful, if we should do a part 2. But I'm really looking for the biggest takeaway, if it's been valuable to you, and if we should do like a part 2 on this, because I feel like we should. So put those in the comments. And my last question that I'll have to leave on, unfortunately, is based on what you guys have done, success as an affiliate, you know, your own successful launch of your own stuff. Would you say that both things happened perfectly, or was it more of, all right, I've got this framework, I'm going to do it messy, and we're going to We're gonna roll this
Messy
shit
as
out like that.
fuck. It was
Oh my
messy.
God. Totally messy.
So Vibe Tribe is 4 days, and it's the first day is getting your back office set up. So people that, want to connect everything, funnels too. We did all that too. But the first day, Jill, in silence, mind you, could not get anything to work. Nothing would work at all. Nothing would connect. She was getting errors. She was literally at home like this in silence. And then it was like an hour before we were gonna start day one, and she gets on the camera like almost in tears, and she's like, "Everything's broken." Okay, all right. It doesn't fucking matter. We have to go live in an hour. We're gonna do this. It is what it is. Let's just fucking roll. And we did, and it was great.
Oh man, I love that. I love it.
Messy for sure, but I think that's what really made it so good.
Yeah.
Failing forward, just go and figure it out as you go. Yeah.
Right. All right. Yeah. I'm with that, and I appreciate it. So I see everybody saying part 2, so we got to plan another one. Before I go, my wife just come and peeped her head and like, "Motherfucker, it's time. We got to go." I was like, "All right, 2 minutes." So next thing, how many people here have been on the fence about group juice, right? And I also will encourage y'all to go and holler at Jill, holler at Jeanette. They can drop their group. Maybe me or Nate can add them, but go and check them out. Go and check them out with Vibe Tribe. But how many of you have been on the fence about group juice? Let me know in the comments. I know we got a lot of group juicers here, but selfish plug before I dip out, because that's just what I do. We just made it super easy for folks to get into group juice. So we just rolled out a payment plan, $194 a month for 8 months. You can get in, get access, literally one high ticket sale, and you'll be in the profit zone, right? Coach support every 2 weeks. Okay. So if you have been on the fence, now's your time to stop making excuses and get in there and knock this shit out. Okay. But I have absolutely enjoyed this. I've got to go before my wife beats my ass. She is a violent person sometimes. But I've enjoyed it.
If you guys are interested, hit up Jill and Jeanette.
Boom. They might even hold on to this. They might even throw in the Vibe Tribe if you wanted to go that route. Just saying. Yeah.
Maybe.
I've got to skedaddle and go spike some balls and stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good rest of the time with the trio here. Your bearded brothers got to roll. So I'll catch y'all on the flip side.
Peace out.
I'll catch the rest of the replay. All right. Later, guys.
Later.
Rick, roll through some of these questions. Let's see. What platforms work the best with your products, and why do you think it performed better on that platform versus any other platforms? So this is a tricky one. I'm actually a big advocate on the platform doesn't necessarily matter. It's more of like what's in the content itself. Mm-hmm. And take that with a grain of salt. Like, I'm not saying, you're going to like go start a blog and you're going to start making a bunch of money overnight. Like, that's not the nature of a blog or a YouTube channel. But what's inside of the content itself is actually what's going to make the big difference, right? It's like, and I mentioned this because a lot of people will get hung up on like, hey, I don't know whether I should do Instagram Reels or TikToks, or like if you're already posting TikToks, post them everywhere, right? Sometimes the video that doesn't do good on TikTok is going to do good on Facebook, and like vice versa. The number one recommendation I usually make to people is the platform that you're comfortable with spending a lot of time on, right? Facebook, we're big on Facebook groups, right? I've seen people do 6-7 figures on Twitter, LinkedIn, like you name it, right? Like, obviously, maybe flipping myself, Jeanette and Jill might not be your peeps if you want to go build a LinkedIn, business thing, because I'm not experienced in that area. But I think wherever you put the energy and you focus on getting better at creating better content on that platform is where you're going to get the most bang for your buck.
Agreed. I make all my videos on TikTok because I just like their editing and everything that's inside there. but I repurpose those same videos everywhere. And sometimes I get a better reach on TikTok, and sometimes I get a better reach on Facebook Reels. I don't pay a lot of attention to Instagram because I feel like it's its own animal. Like there's a lot of rules and things that you should look at you. There's a lot of rules and things that you should like know in order to be successful on Instagram. And I'm having success mostly with TikTok and Facebook, so I'm not gonna put my time into something I'm not getting anything out of. So,
and with that being said, some people have a lot of success on Instagram, but it's not me either. So
no, I don't mess with it. But yeah, I mean, if that's like the social media platform that you like the most, then, you know, find out how that really works. I mean, obviously short form is the way, but there's other things to it. There's like more to it than just the short form.
And that's why I'm like a Facebook fanboy, I guess you could say, right? Maybe it's because I'm getting old in age. You know, the younger kids would be like, oh, Facebook, dude, you must be a boomer or something, you know, whatever. But from like a business standpoint, it's like it connects it checks all the boxes, right? You have the short form video content medium, you have the DM access medium, and then you have a community medium, right? So you can kind of do all of these prongs on this one platform. And that's why I really started gravitating towards Facebook, coming from, you know, writing 296,000 words on a blog and making a couple bucks, and doing matching YouTube videos for every blog post. It was, you know, picking your own poison in a sense, right? And keep that in mind is like, if it depends on the type of business you're actually building, right? If you're looking to build like a long-term YouTube channel that's like very hands-off, you just create content and like it's a very long-term play, but you can do that. But if you notice, like even like big YouTubers, they got groups, they got communities, they got pages where they're doing DMs. So that's why I prefer groups and Facebook as a whole, is because it's all in one spot, one place. And it's also easier, as this kind of goes into Bobby's question, is like it's easier to keep people on the platform versus like I'm on another platform and I'm like, hey, go leave this app and go somewhere else. Like if I'm doing it all on Facebook, it's just, hey, I have a group too. You're already watching this reel on Facebook. Why not? Right.
Yeah. So I feel like TikTok has played a part, but you know, Facebook has been just as good with bringing people into my group, you know. Again, I just like TikTok because that's where I'm most comfortable making videos. I can make them, you know, I can bang them out pretty quick. So I feel like both of them have been equally successful. Doesn't really answer your question so much, Bobby, but yeah, I feel like both have been successful. And when I first started using TikTok, Facebook Reels wasn't even a thing yet, or it had just started. So that's the other thing too, you know. But the video that popped off that blew up my Facebook group was a Facebook Reel. I originally made it on TikTok, repurposed it to Facebook Reels. So it did really well on both, but it was bigger on Facebook Reels. So I guess I would say, you know, find where you're comfortable making the video, but put it everywhere that you can, because you never know.
Yeah, and I think you're also going to, just as a natural thing, you're going to find your audience, and it depends on you as a person on a particular platform too, right? I seem to have much more success on Facebook as well, but I think you just need to put your stuff everywhere anyway, because there's going to be people that don't like Facebook and are only watching on TikTok, and they might be your peeps, but they just don't spend any time here or around, turn it around. I mean, either way, it doesn't matter. So yeah, I think repurposing is a big thing, but you're going to have different experiences on every platform you're on. But I was told yesterday, just so you know, somebody came into my group and told me that Facebook was only for old people.
Yep. Pretty much, right?
Well, it depends how old they are to consider old.
I know. I'm like, are you trying to compliment me, or like, what are you trying to say?
Thank you. Was your response, thank you?
Oh my goodness. And yeah, that's a really good point too. Is like we started playing around with group juice strategies before there was short form video content anywhere else. Before YouTube Shorts, before Instagram Reels, before Facebook Reels. The main medium was TikTok.
Yeah.
Right. I actually I had a coaching client that I worked with for about 12 weeks. And that's kind of where I started to discover the power of group juice strategies. So to add context, my group, I had less than 1,000 people in my group at this time. Right. And I was stoked because I took her from no group to 1,000 group members in 90 days. Right. And I was like, hey, maybe I have something here. Right. And at the time it was TikTok to group. Nobody was doing it really. Nobody was like talking. It was always about TikTok to low ticket affiliate link. And that was it. That was the strategy. Whereas I helped her deploy TikTok to group to link. So it was like a different nuance as far as like, it was something different, a different connection point. So figuring out which as Jeanette said, not Jeanette, sorry, as Jill said, sorry, getting you mixed up.
Just
as she said, figuring out where your audience is the most responsive, and then and really enticing them to join your community. Like wherever you're posting this content, think about it from a consumer's perspective. What are they going to get out of joining your group, and how can you make it crystal clear that they are getting something out of it? Because that's the only reason they're going to join anyways. Whereas it's like, if you make a piece of content and you're like, hey, join my group, the question they're asking themselves is, why should I join your group? So answer that one question. Apparently I'm 80 coffees in because I'm just doing this the entire call, whatever.
Maybe you should go swimming.
Can you still use funnels in your program? Yeah. So in the Vibe Tribe, they actually, Jill's a tech wizard herself. So she actually breaks down how to do that with System.io.
Yeah.
We cover some of it in our programs. Obviously, when you get to a certain point in business, you do need to start having some form of automations, funnels, just a reality of it. You can use them if you want, but they're not like a prerequisite. So the biggest thing with us, and I mean me and Flip specifically, is we're not getting you to buy our thing so you can come in and we're going to like give you this templatized thing where you can just go sell our stuff. Like that's not the agenda. But there is trainings in there that will show you how to set up certain processes if you want them. But by no means is it like a twisting your arm and you have to do this to have success. Cause like, realistically, if you had a phone and a Facebook profile, you could have a 6-figure business.
Right. Which is crazy, but it's true.
Let's see. Same way, Gillette. There you go. Boom.
Yes. Yeah. Bobby canceled that shit immediately.
Hell yeah. I know you were playing around in ClickFunnels 2.0 as well.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah. You really don't. So clearly I am not a tech person. Clearly. But you really don't need it. And I feel like that's like what a lot of my content is about, because it makes me so mad because I wasted so much money in the beginning and so much time just trying to figure that shit out, and you don't need it. Like I still to this day have just a Beacons page. That's all I have. And I've done all of this with a friggin' Beacons page and a Facebook profile, a TikTok account, and a Facebook group. That's it. So if you're struggling with that part of it, don't struggle. Like, get rid of it. Just do a Beacons page. It's your content.
And I really like doing funnels because I think they're kind of fun, but I actually don't use one either. I mean, I do now because we've had to, but I just had a landing page that was just bringing somebody into my group, and it didn't even capture the email in the landing page. So yeah, you don't have to.
Yeah.
Up
And
until
then,
90 days ago, Flip was using beacons.
yeah.
Until finally he like, told me, he's like, dude, like, why haven't you built me a funnel yet? Like, it's a good question, dude.
Listen, I just said to Jill, we should probably walk through the funnel part of this. I'm like, if something happens to you, I'm gonna be like, I don't know. I don't know how to give you that.
She has a hard enough time with my passwords.
The generated password. Like, what's your password? Oh, Jesus.
It's like 72 different characters. Of just,
Yeah.
hey, safe though,
Yeah. But that was a big thing, like, in what we wanted to show with Vibe Tribe, is because I felt like that people were so stuck on that. So it gives you both. Like, there's a bonus training for beacons, and then there's Jill showing you her wizardry of how to set it up if you want to, and just showing that it's not that complicated. I get for most people, it still is for me, but yeah, so we just wanted, that was like the first day of it, because we wanted to like get that out of the way and then move on to like your content and all of that, which is the most important thing.
Well, and what's funny is that the first day, that's where all like, that was probably like the biggest panic that happened. I'm like, okay, you don't have to, but so many people had asked for like, how do you do the funnels and stuff?
Mhm.
Like, okay, we'll do that first and then get on to the rest of it. And oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Jeanette,
people were like, what is happening?
But it's more so for people that want to do it, and you don't have to.
Mm-hmm.
Good question here. I don't know who it is, but we can ask both of them because they both had it happen. So what video blew up? Do you remember?
So it's kind of funny. This is kind of how we came up with what we were going to do inside Vibe Tribe for each day. So it was literally a video of me saying, like, did you take some training and you feel like this? And I'm ridiculous. So I was like, what? And then I put like words, and it said like, just build a funnel. And then I was like, what again? And then it said, just copy and paste all my shit and then just post your shit everywhere. And I just put all the social media things. And I was like, having any luck getting all that figured out? Probably not. And then I was like, come join my group, basically. But I just took everything that I was struggling with and then realized that I didn't need any of that shit. And then I was like, I should make a video about this. And that's what it was about. So, Jill, what was your...
Mine was just a talking head kind of about the same type of stuff, but just, are you struggling with your affiliate marketing, or are you looking into affiliate marketing and don't know what to do? It was just a really generic short form. I mean, it was like nothing. It was nothing that you would think that would happen with, but it just didn't.
Yeah, I didn't think that was going to be the video, because every video I'm like, this is the one, and it never is. Yeah. It never is. But I
just
really
refresh, hoping it gets
like, here it comes. It's definitely going to come. But I really I was like keeping an eye on what I was seeing in other people's content, what I was seeing even in like people that I followed, like in their comments. Like, what were people saying that they were struggling with? And it was always the same thing.
Yep.
Like, okay, I get what I'm supposed to be doing here, but like, I don't know how to do it. So I just made a couple of videos like that, and one of them just kind of took off. I hope that answers your question, Facebook user.
Let's see. This is a cool question. Signed up for Group G's a couple days ago. Already was growing my social media audience beforehand. What would you say the most important thing to think about as I go through the course? So I might have a biased opinion, so I'm going to let them answer it because they came in and actually took the thing, right?
Yeah. Jill, go ahead.
What I would say as you're going through the course is, I would say, watch the video and implement it. Watch the video and implement it. Watch the video and implement it. Like, don't wait to get through everything and then do it. because you're going to have to go back anyway, because I still go back to those videos because there's something in there that I want to remind myself of. So to me, the most important thing is to watch and do at the same time.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Yeah. And I just had a thought and it's gone.
Yeah. So a good analogy for this is like, if you look at consumption of anything like courses or like educational material, I like to look at it like walking. So if you don't match it with implementation, you just go in circles, right? And Jill brings up a really good point about coming back in and rewatching things and reconsuming, because your perspectives and the lens that you're actually consuming that material from is going to be different.
Mm-hmm.
So don't be afraid to go through things more than once, right? More than 5, 6, 7. Like, I can't tell you the number of times I watched an hour-long training about messaging on repeat for probably like 6 months. So that's going to be the biggest one, would be doing taking something, implementation, and then like optimizing as you go, especially if you're talking about group juice, because there's an overwhelming amount of content in there. And I'm not like just being honest, like there's interviews and weekly calls and the trainings and everything else we've added. And it's like, can probably be extremely intimidating when you first jump in.
Yeah. But if you're going to be promoting group juice too, when you're going through these trainings, like write down some stuff that is like a light bulb or something that you really liked what was being talked about, and then use that in your content too, because you talking about what you're learning, it's not going to be what a lot of other people hear from other courses that they're taking, because I feel like there's not a lot of courses out there that are teaching what you guys teach in group juice. So not only are you going to learn and implement, but it also becomes content too.
Yep.
That's what I was going to say before.
There might be a button above. Sometimes Facebook's weird with profiles. You might have to grant StreamYard permission if it's the first time you came on the live with us.
Mm-hmm.
If you're watching this from the group juice group, it's probably StreamYard's weird. It has a mind of its own, just like
Yeah.
Facebook in general.
It took me a couple months for it to know even though I granted it access, it didn't recognize me for like a month. So don't worry, Mark, you're good.
This is a good one. Let's see. Can you give me an example of how to create content based on a juice training you consumed? So kind of like Jeanette was just saying, if you're talking about maybe promoting group juice, look at documentation of the process you're actually doing, right? So it's like, I would go create content about what I just consumed or what I just learned or strategy I just picked up, or like a behind the scenes look of what you're doing with your business and your actual goals, right? So, hey, I was doing this in my business, but I just jumped into this thing and this is what I'm going to start doing. This is a strategy I just picked up, right? If you want to follow me along on this journey of me growing and monetizing my own community, right? Tap the plus, drop a follow, jump into my group. Kind of documentation of what you're doing. If you're kind of like looking to promote that thing, not that you have to, right? It's not you don't have to come in and just sell our thing if you don't want to, but it's a effective strategy would be talking about it as a whole, right? What the things you're doing, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, literally everything. Like you take a training about how to set up your Facebook group, like make a video on why a Facebook group is important, you know, like that through each step. That's what I'm saying. When you go through the trainings, like write down what pops out at you, and then that could be your content. Facebook user.
That's probably it might be Mark.
It's Mark. Yeah. Sorry, Mark.
Mark. Yeah. So let's see. I'll ask you a loaded question. What was the scariest part about launching your own product?
I think the actual training itself. Even though we do lives like this all the time, I think it was just like it made me almost feel like going back to when I first started doing lives and you're like sweaty, you know, and you're like, I can't talk because you have a dry mouth. I think that was hard, but also because I struggle with like mindset kind of stuff. So the fear of failure, of no one wanting to come in or like, you know what I mean? Like not like nobody's going to want to do this or it's not going to be good enough or yeah. And like, what an asshole. Like people love, like it was great. And, you know,
Yeah.
most of the people that are in there, they're up and running super quick. So, yeah, so I think the actual training itself was hard. I mean, it wasn't, but I guess because it was like, okay, like this is our thing. It's got to be perfect, which it never is. But yeah, I would say those two things for me.
I agree. I think that whole imposter syndrome when just before it launches, like that hour before you're going to go live, that
Mhm.
for me was the worst part. Besides the fact that nothing was going right, but I mean, aside from that, even if everything had been perfect, it wouldn't have mattered because I would have been like, oh my goodness, what's going to go wrong?
Yeah,
You know, like that whole panic sets in, and
it's so panicky for no
oh,
reason. It was great.
terrible.
I think
And then,
that's probably one of the coolest parts to like witness and kind of be a part of, because like to add context, Flip and myself were kind of pushing Jill over and over again and like Jeanette and like, hey, you guys need to do this thing. You need to put an offer together, like, you know, planting little seeds,
yeah.
you know, so I think it was one of the coolest parts to experience is like, you know, we were in cahoots and talked to them throughout the entire duration of their promo and their launch. And it's like, you guys have this thing and it's going to pop, right? Like you're going to sell spots. And you could tell it was like, maybe, right? And then, you know, it's like,
Literally.
you know, and then there's like spots are selling and it's like, dude, this is crazy. Like people want this. And
We
it's
were like, what?
you know, it's like, yeah.
I know. And then I remember, I think it was literally like 2 days before or something like that. We had consistently had people coming in, like at least one a day. We were having people jump in. And then it was like, you know, the big push at the end, like, okay, like you only have 48 hours left. So we were thinking, oh, so then I guess we got overconfident. We were like, everybody's gonna jump in. And it was like crickets. And I remember we messaged you at like the end of the day, and I was like,
It's broken.
everybody hates us. It's not going good. It's not. And then you were like, guys, the day's not over yet. And literally, like 20 minutes later, Nate's like, told you. We were like, yep, here comes the people. We're so ridiculous. It was definitely like such a roller coaster of emotions doing it.
Yeah, promos are exhausting. They're like, I don't know, they're a lot. There's a lot that goes into it. Like, you know, that people don't see, and it is 100% an emotional roller coaster.
Yeah.
Um,
And it's so funny because it's like the self-doubt is terrible. And then even like afterwards, like when Jill and I were together, Michelle had reached out to us and was like, hey, I know you guys are probably so busy, but like, do you think that you would want to do an interview in your group? It's totally fine if you say no. And I'm like, why would we say no to this? Like, what? And then she's like, I can't believe you guys said yes. And I was like, who are we? Like, what? Yeah, of course we'll do an interview in your group. What?
Yes, that was pretty funny. When we happened to be together at that moment.
Yeah.
That tech
eating chips.
Eating chips. Drinking whiskey and eating chips. How long did it take to get through the course? Is it different from core? I'm retired, got nothing but time. Yes, this is Mark. Mark, thank you for identifying yourself. How long did it take me to get through group juice? So group juice is different than core. It took me a long time to go through group juice, but only because I have to listen to a training probably 3 times before it like puts itself into my brain. That's just me. I've always been that way. But I know people that like have gone through it every day. You know, they just do like the hour train or whatever it is, you know, each day, and they can soak it all up. So it really depends on you.
Yep.
Well, and there's for me, there's a lot more in group juice now than there was when I joined group
yeah.
juice. So I think I went through the trainings actually relatively quickly, and then I had to go back through the trainings again.
Yeah.
As I think how I did it. But yeah, there's a lot in there. So
Yep.
it is.
And yes, it is different than core. Core's our coaching program. It's like kind of our back end baby that we're kind of moving into a new season where we're gonna, for the people that have been in group juice for a long time, they've basically seen us build and build and build and launch these different stages of our business. So Flip and myself are kind of moving into a different season where it's going to be kind of just feeding our babies now, a different style, not necessarily running into hard promos and stuff like that. So yes, it is a different thing than actual group juice itself. It's more of like personal interaction, Zoom calls, weekly trainings on specific topics, and basically in the weeds of the business with you, like flipping me in your pocket, basically helping you.
The amount of trainings that are in there will make you want to throw up.
Yeah. We've been running weekly calls for 2 years, so
they're all in there. It's crazy how much is in there.
The biggest thing, so like currently in the process of finishing setting up your Facebook group, never had one before. Any tips on what I should be posting? So getting some stuff in your group is going to be important because the more that you have in your group, the easier it is to actually start growing that community, because then you can just start talking about what you did in your group, right? And it's going to naturally cause that fear of missing out. Like, hey, I want to, like, how do I see what they just put in there? So brand new, a couple things that I would usually put in there is like who you are, what you've done, maybe things you've tried, what you're planning on doing, goals, objectives, where you're currently at. Like, if you're not making money online, that's fine, right? You don't have to create a piece of content and be like, hey, I'm a millionaire. Like, look at it like your online journal, and you're going into creating your group, and you're going to document your process from right now and to where you are in 6 months, and then it just continues to kind of evolve, because the people who come into your group right now and they watch you change your life and transform your business over the next 6-12 months, it's going to be very inspiring for them to feel like they've been a part of. And you'll start really compounding buyers over time, which I know is kind of hard to zoom out on, but that's my take on it anyways. Maybe Jeanette and Jill have a different one.
No, I think that's true, because like when we really started getting a lot of people in our group, they've actually watched the entire journey from watching us, try to overcome all of those fears of like going live and posting in your group and, making the mistakes and all that kind of stuff. So they've watched us actually kind of grow. So that's kind of the fun part of having the group. All of a sudden it's like instant group, but yeah. And some people, and they talk about it too, like, oh yeah, I've been here since you started, really.
And don't feel like because you have a new group and there's not a lot of people in there that you shouldn't put anything in there, because people are not going to realize that it's a brand new group, so definitely like put some stuff in there. I mean, if like some of the stuff that I had when I started was obviously in the make money online, but I was like, what is affiliate marketing? Like, how do you pick a niche? How do you pick products? How do you find what you want to be an affiliate for? Just basic stuff. And then those are like the first 3 videos that I had in there until I had enough courage to go live. And then the rest of them were I just went live and just talked about stuff. And you don't have to have like, I did like recorded videos that I posted. You don't have to have that. Just go live. Just go live and talk to people. I feel like that's probably the hardest thing to do in your group, but it's the most beneficial thing for you, because people are going to interact and ask you questions when you're live in your group, as opposed to them just like posting a question or something like that. They're going to be more apt to interact with you when you're live.
Yep. Better connection. Good question. How do we sign up for Core as well? Not saying I'm Mark, but inquiring minds want to know. We actually dropped a post in it today. We did do a bit of a restructure, bunch of changes with the way things are laid out. If you're in Group Juice, there's a post in there that I just put in there today. Check that out, or either hit Flip or myself up and we can have a chat about that. Any advice about guarding against overwhelm, info overload? Group Juice, VT, TC all provided so much value. Oh, yeah. See, I was like getting lost in the acronyms. So
I was like, TC. Oh, TC.
you know. Okay. So the biggest thing I will recommend from somebody who buys courses all the time, even to this day, right? I spend an astronomical amount of money on coaching. It would probably make people vomit if they found out how much I spent. It's the biggest thing is like once you have your skeleton and your ecosystem in place, kind of using training to supplement where you want to improve. Right. So if I'm like looking at my business and I need to improve on content, then I'm going to go watch and consume some information that I have on content. Right. If I want to refine my skills in Messenger, or I want to do a certain thing in my business, then I'm going to kind of use the information at hand to help me do that. Right. Versus like, if you buy this thing and then it comes with, other things too, is I would usually recommend like picking, it doesn't matter what order most of the time, like pick one that you want to go through and kind of focus on for a little while. And that's not to discredit, like this is like, even if you bought Vibe Tribe from them and you have Group Juice, like just go through Vibe Tribe first, right? Like go through Vibe Tribe, do their thing, and then make your way into Group Juice versus like, hey, I'm going to watch Jeanette and Jill's video. I'm going to watch Nate and Flip's video, and I'm going to do all this stuff at once. And it's like, you're just going to melt your own brain.
Yeah.
So first things first, making sure that at least the skeleton of your business is set up, or you have a clear understanding of how you want to operate that business. And what I mean by that is like going to use short form video content to grow my community. And then the next thing is content. Like the reality of it is we're just content creators in a nutshell. So
Yeah.
Well, and I say think of training as like building blocks. So you're adding stuff to your business. So once you've mastered one building block, then go ahead and put another one on top of it. So don't try to like throw all of it at it at once, but try to build it piece by piece, because if the overwhelm comes when you try to throw too much into it at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. And don't try to like do all the training, like, in a couple of days. Like, don't do that, because I'll watch a training. Yeah. That's a lot of training. I mean, it's all good stuff. Like that's a solid package right there. But don't try to do it. I mean, I'm like an hour and a half, and then my brain's like, ooh, and then I'm not listening to a thing after that. So when you're doing the training, like block everything else out, to literally have like a pen and paper and write down what jumps out at you. Like that was big for me because I have such a squirrel brain. But yeah, don't try to do it all at once. That's for sure.
Yep. No rush, right? Like you're not going to, the tricky part about training is it like it feels, and this is where a lot of people end up getting stuck, is like it's extremely validating to consume trainings, right? It naturally feels like you're moving your business forward. So it goes back to what Jill was saying about like matching implementation with training itself. Because a really dangerous habit to get in is like, hey, I'm just going to consume. So I'm going to make my way through all this stuff and I'm never going to apply any of it. Right. And that's why a lot of people end up getting stuck in the online world, is because they chase this next sacred piece of information versus like, I have all this stuff at my fingertips and I'm going to take a little bit of it and I'm going to implement it. And I'm going to do this for longer periods of time, right? 6, 12 months. Right. And that's when it really starts to like, and I like to give that as like a rule of thumb, because, it's a little bit longer than what most will tell you. That's when the stuff really starts to click, and you can really start to have fun with it when you really start to like grasp a lot of the stuff. But there's no rush. At least that's my perspective of it, is like, don't feel like you have to get it all done right now, which obviously can be daunting if like you're in a job and you don't like your job and things like that, and you just want to throw your work computer in the bucket so you can go live. You know,
I think it was out the window, but a bucket would work too.
I was imagining a bucket of water, you know.
That would definitely work.
So,
But
you know, it's not a race. And this is also why we're really big on setting realistic expectations up front, because we don't want people coming in and buying our products that are like, hey, I need this money right now, otherwise I can't pay my bills.
yeah,
Because then you start operating your business in a way that's like really needy, it starts repelling people. And when you can kind of detach from, hey, I need everything to work like tomorrow, it's just better as a whole, right? The stress levels, the operational levels. So probably tangential, but you know, as per usual, and hand movements.
so this is also like these trainings. This is not like college. Like you don't learn for 4 years and then go get a job. You learn and do like as you're doing it. So like if you go to college, that takes 2 years, 4 years. So this is not going to happen overnight, but it's also probably not going to take you 2 years either. Because you're doing it as you go.
Yeah. And the cool part is like once you learn something, especially in like the information game, you have the knowledge forever, right? Like you understand how to do certain things. Like, so perfect example, Jeanette and Jill launched their masterclass. Probably extremely intimidating the first time they do that. The next time they do that, it's going to be easy. They already know what to expect. They already know if there's going to be a lull in the promo. They already know like, hey, things might go haywire and DNS records are going to mess up and I can't even get this to work. And there could be something that goes wrong. So, and that's just part of it. Like we had the same exact feeling when we launched Group Juice. Like that's the cool part to think about is like before me and Flip launched Group Juice, we never launched our own products. We were both nervous as shit, right? Like obviously like, and then zooming out 14 months, whatever, the amount of lives that it's impacted off of us doing that and pushing ourselves to do that.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It really is crazy.
You guys then we got addicted to it and did it a dozen more times last year.
Clearly you're okay with it. I love it. That's fantastic.
Yeah, if you guys don't have any more questions, we can start wrapping it up. I don't mean to keep Jeanette and Jill all day. As we did mention, if you guys want to check out Vibe Tribe, Group Juice, anything like that, hit up Jeanette and Jill. I will come back through and tag their groups above this video. If you're watching this in one of our paid trainings, then it'll also be there as well.
Come hit us up.
Come hit us up, yeah, absolutely.
If you're struggling or whatever, just come hit us up. We're happy to help. Vibe Tribe for life. I don't know what that means. I felt like I was going to do this, but I went. I'm talking to Bobby, and I'm all mahalo, Bobby. I like use that word today, and I feel like I want to use it all the time now. It's like y'all. Y'all was a thing for a while. I can't. I live in New York. I can't be like, hey, y'all. They're going to be like, what's wrong
I think
with
it's funny when you start using like verbiage that people you interact with online, but it's like something you would never say in person.
Never.
Like what? I don't ever say y'all, but I say it all the time in text. Like
that's true. That's very true.
Oh, there it is, right there. Just dropped it there in the comments.
Yeah.
Bobby, mahalo.
Boom toss. Well, I appreciate you guys taking the time to jump on with us.
Thanks for inviting us.
Yeah, thanks for having us. This was fun as always. Thank you for the laughs.
Yeah,
I know we always come in ridiculously laughing, and everybody's like, "What's happening?" Right in the beginning.
Awesome.
Thanks for hanging out with us, guys. We appreciate it. And again, hit us up if you're interested in the Vibe Tribe or anything we talked about today. Come hit us up. Come join our groups.
Yep.
We'd love to have you.
We will see you guys tomorrow. And by, I mean, Jeanette and Jill, I will see you guys tomorrow on Core,
Yes.
but
Yep.
you guys will also
Both
see
of them.
us. You'll see Flip and myself tomorrow as well, because we're just spamming everybody with lives this week. So we have a live tomorrow and Friday. So
Oh.
until then.
Oh, that's why Flip hates you. He was talking about doing a part 2, but he's gonna be like, yeah, we're not doing a part 2. I'm done with the live.
We got interviews booked until April.
I love it. All right. Well, thank you so much. We had so much fun.
Thank you.
Peace out, guys.